Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Delks, and I'd like to welcome you to the Compete Mentality podcast, where we host basketball coaches, players, and trainers from around Indiana, the United States, and the world. Our mission is to motivate, educate, and lead others in their faith, basketball, and personal journey to compete, which we define as doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard. No matter what stage of life you're in, we're all called to compete. Today's episode is brought to you by the Spike Albrecht and Jordan Delks Point Guard School. Be looking at our social media for upcoming events with Spike Albrecht and Jordan Delks. And today's guests, we have a very, very special podcast. Today we have Spike Albrecht, former Michigan and Purdue point guard. We got Lewis Jackson, who's the all-time winningest point guard at Purdue. We got CTA trainer Jace Martin and myself. And all four of us love to talk and debate Big Ten basketball, NBA basketball, and we are going to give you guys a one-of-a-kind show here today. So, fellas, I want to go around the horn. Best Big Ten player ever right now. Best Big Ten player ever right now. And I'm going to go out and say it's Big Dog Glenn Robinson, 30 points a game, John Wooden Award winner, so dominant, and he was number one pick in the NBA draft. That's mine. Jace, how about you, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to say if you want to talk about points, Calvert Cheney. That's the obvious answer. All-time leading scorer in the conference and went to a Final Four.
All-time leading scorer in the conference.
I think an injury or two away from winning a national championship. So I think that's the easy answer. Calvert Cheney, for sure.
For sure. What you think, Lou?
I'll say Big Dog. I will pay respect just because I played in that era. I played against him. Evan Turner was the National Player of the Year, number 2 draft pick. Yeah. That's a hard question, man. That is tough. But yeah, Big Dog overall. But I even give Jason credit with the Calvert Cheney.
It's tough when you're trying to be a homer.
Yeah,
you're trying to pick up from your Purdue person. If you're being honest, you know who it is.
But if you say that, if we start getting just Big Ten basketball, you got a guy like Zebo. When we start talking about Spike hasn't even got to go through Michigan with the Fab Five.
For sure.
Steve Smith, we talking about Magic Johnson.
You got to choose one. You got to choose one.
He's not bad. He's not a bad pick at all. But yeah, Big Dog. He was the number 1 draft pick.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Big Dog.
Two Big Dog, 1 Calvert Cheney. Spike, who you rolling with, bro?
Yeah, I would. Being from Northwest Indiana, Crown Point, I'm going to roll with Big Dog. Glenn's a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to show some love to Michigan. Obviously, the guy Fab Five. But also shout out to Trey Burke.
Yeah.
Trey, 2013 National Player of the Year. Swept every major award. Right, and I know he wasn't the number 1 overall pick, but what he did, his sophomore year was pretty insane. So he had a college year that was for the ages. So I'm going to give some love to Trey Burke.
Absolutely. And while we're rolling on that Michigan train, Michigan's having an unbelievable year, fellas. I want to know if you're buying or selling Michigan Wolverine basketball in the Final Four this year. Buying or selling? Spike, what do you think? You lead us off. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I'm biased, but I'm definitely buying. I think they rose to the occasion, stepped up to every challenge. They went and beat Ohio State at Ohio State. Just absolutely dog walked Iowa at home. And I think they have all the pieces to be a really good team. They got a senior PG, they're balanced, you got pros on the wings.
Yep.
You got a big man who's a beast down low in Hunter Dickinson.
Yep.
So I definitely think they're in that category with Gonzaga and Baylor. And I think they're gonna be in the Final Four down here in Indy. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Spike's buying. Lou, how about you? Buying or selling?
I'm buying right now.
Okay.
I like Juwan Howard. I like what he's doing for the program. Obviously, if you know the history, you love that in itself. And
for sure.
I can honestly say I watch my mom watches all Big Ten. She's still at Purdue, but she'll call me certain teams. You need to watch this player. This team is rolling this, and then for a while I didn't see Michigan. Yeah. So all I knew at the time was Illinois, Iowa, and obviously follow Purdue. So I'm thinking Luka Garza, those guys.
Yep.
She's like, no, you gotta see Michigan. Then I see them like, oh, they're rolling through the Big Ten. And I actually just watched them against a couple days ago, and I'm like, I enjoy watching them play basketball. Like Spike said, like they feel all the spots. And anybody that's played at that level, or even just knows the game of basketball, they mark all the point guard, bigs, wings, like they have everything. So I'm buying right now.
Lou's buying. Coach Martin?
Yeah, I'm buying too. And like they bought into what Juwan's preaching, apparently. Like from what I can see, like they are all in for him. Yeah, I wouldn't put them in the same level as Gonzaga and Baylor. But yeah, pretty close.
You know something? I'll say this about Gonzaga though. When people say that, think Gonzaga's talented. But then I'm also going to knock their confidence because each year we see Gonzaga roll. Yep. They roll every year.
They beat Kansas. They beat
early
Texas Tech. They beat Texas. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Yeah, their conference is not great.
In what other conference? Think about just the Big Ten, for example. What other conference could you go and play a team and be a 32.5 point favorite? They covered. But I think there's something to be said about being tested night in and night out, and they just don't have that.
No doubt.
And they never will.
That's my only doubt about that.
It's not their fault. It is what it is.
Yeah, all valid points. I'm buying Michigan, and I'm going with all three of you guys. I think it's really cool. Sometimes you don't see a former player come in and coach and be successful off the bat.
After a legend.
And I think it's so cool to see what Juwan Howard's doing. And he's got those guys together. He seems like, from when I've heard him talk, and he seems like a great motivator. He's got his guys playing together. And I just think that's really cool for the game, for the Big Ten, to see a Big Ten legend player and come in and succeed right away as well.
Have you all seen the Michigan fans raid on Twitter? Have you seen that? So next time Michigan beats someone in the Big Ten, go to the team they beat's mentions and watch Michigan fans just kill. It's so fun.
Versus Iowa.
Yes, oh my gosh, the memes and the trash talk is so fun. It's called the Michigan Raid. It's so much fun.
So, Coach Martin, since you're talking, I want to transition to your Hoosiers here. Okay. Fire Archie Miller or keep him? Fire Archie Miller or keep him? And Coach, since you're the IU fan, it's coming to you.
Yeah, so, okay, a couple things. One, no disrespect to Archie. I'm sure he's a great guy. Like, I don't want to trash his family or him as a person. But, yeah, fire him. Like, he has to go. Yeah. But part of the problem is we've gotten into this situation where he fired Crean because he wasn't good enough. And at some point, like, we as Indiana fans have to know our place. Like, are we actually a good program, or was a guy named Bob Knight a really good coach? And so we don't want to get into the situation where you fire Davis, you fire Sampson, you fire Crean, you fire Archie, and then are constantly mad and nobody wants to come coach for you. So it's a weird balance. But not only Indiana at this point, and again, no offense to Archie's like personal life, I'm sure he's a great guy, but Indiana at this point, like, players are not getting better. Like, players are not improving besides Trace Jackson Davis and Armand Frankfurt. Other than that, like, everybody's either kind of staying the same or even getting more timid and worse. And so, yeah, as much as it pains me to say this, I say we need a new guy.
I'll roll next here, and I'm going to say keep Archie. Just because I'm a Purdue guy and I like beating you guys. So. Lewis, on you.
I'm a Purdue guy. Matt Payne is my guy. I think Coach Martin said a great thing. Like, you have to give a coach, you do need some leniency because you have to build a program up. So if you keep firing guys and you bring another guy in, he doesn't do well in 2-3 years, then you're going to fire another guy. Like, the tradition and what that coach is trying to establish, it's never going to be able to get set in. Like, obviously, I'm going to bring Purdue up about this, but Matt Painter has been there consistently. You know what you're expecting and what the team is going to be each year because this coach is able to be established. He got guys that he wants, his tradition. He's not getting fired, then we're bringing a guy. I deal with your guys for 2-3 years, and if I don't have success, give me at least a year for my guys to get here. And if we don't have success,
for sure,
you're getting fired. So that's a tough thing, but I'm going to leave us.
So I would agree with that, except it's not like got a bunch of young talent who's just trying real hard and darn it, they play real hard and they're getting better every game. We can see the improvement. It's like, no, you've got your guys. You've been there for 4 years and they're not getting better. Like nothing, we're not improving at all. Yeah. But yes, you're right. Like this cycle of coaches is dangerous.
But I'm with you. If you think they should fire them, fire them.
Right.
You're the IU expert.
Spike.
Yeah, you know what? I hate to see, just because in this business, like, he's got family and stuff, so
Yeah,
he hates
yeah.
to like fire him.
Yeah.
But like,
He's gonna get his money though.
yeah, no, he's doing well. He's
Yeah,
eating good at
he's gonna
night.
get his
So
10
I don't
million,
feel
yeah.
that bad for him. But like, I'll say this: I think, you know, he could get saved this year, maybe one more year for
Mhm.
COVID. You know, I feel like a lot of guys are gonna
Yeah.
get saved by COVID. But the biggest disappointment to me is like, okay, they haven't made the NCAA tournament. Like, that's a huge issue, right? Especially at IU, you guys got high expectations. You got to get in the tournament, man.
Mhm.
But also, I watched their game the other night versus Rutgers, and you were talking about skill development.
Yeah.
But even like more than that, dude, they completely just quit.
Yeah.
Like
Second half.
they were up 15. I was like, damn, they're about to roll.
Yeah.
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 And then next thing
Yep.
you know, I'm like, turn the TV back on. They're down 15 or 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's a bad sign as a
Yep.
coach. If your players aren't like playing hard and they start quitting on you,
Yep.
you're starting to like, that's when you start to lose the locker room.
Yep.
And I'm interested to see how he does. I think he's got 3 or 4 more games. They're playing Michigan
Mhm.
today. Might be going on right now. It's coming up.
That's a loss.
So that's trouble. That's trouble.
That's a
for
loss.
IU
I'll
fans,
say that's a loss.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
especially without fans and assembly, make a difference. But he's got to win some games. He's got to get in the NCAA tournament.
And you can say, sorry, we don't talk about IU the whole time, but you can say they might have made the tournament last year. Probably would have made the tournament last year if they had it. Not good enough though. Like
No.
losing record in the Big Ten all 4 years. Not like making one tournament in 4 years in your third year is just not good enough.
Yeah. And I know I made mine quick and very biased opinion, but I do agree with Coach Martin. I think as an IU fan, he gave a really good synopsis of that. And Spike nailed it too. Like, I think you don't see a lot of guys just coming together, playing hard together, loving on each other, and they're not being a team right now. So, guys, I want to kind of transition to the NBA. Okay, NBA. If you can take one point guard in the league, who are you taking? And I'm starting off Lou Jack, the all-time winningest point guard in Purdue history. You're in the NBA draft. You got to take a point guard.
That's tough. Are we considering James Harden at this point a point guard?
James Harden.
Is he officially a point guard?
He-
But I mean, like,
Ja-
are we officially saying it because Kyrie's over there, but he's moved to the point?
Yes.
Are we officially saying
James
that?
Harden's a point guard.
If that's the case, I'm taking Harden at this point of his career. I would love to take CP3, but at his age, that's the only reason I'm not going to take CP3 at this
Okay.
moment. But yeah, just what Harden is doing and being willing, like we've seen him score 30, 40, 60. Like he can give you all of that in Houston. And being willing to go over to Brooklyn and basically take less shots and still be as efficient and lead the league in assists. 6'7", like he can do everything you want him to do, and he makes sound decisions. It's not like they're poor decisions. I'm going Harden.
Okay. Let's go Spike. Who you taking?
I'm gonna go. I do like Harden. I'm gonna go, and I don't know if you consider him a point guard. I do. I'm going with Steph Curry. Steph.
He's a point guard.
Right, he's
Yeah.
a scorer. He's been nasty this year. Right, his numbers are off the charts. Obviously, his team's not very good. I think they're still in the playoff mix, right?
Yeah, it's still on.
But what he's doing is crazy. His numbers are, I think they're right there, or even better than they were the year he got the unanimous MVP. But I think if they had Klay Thompson, like I think they're legit contenders.
Yes.
He's playing at that level right now.
Yep.
So I'm gonna roll with Steph.
Yep, for sure. Jace, Coach Martin, what do you think?
Well, similar question with Harden and Curry, be a point guard, but Luka.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that would be, he's
bad man.
fun to watch and exciting. And like, we're hearing Larry Bird comparisons already. Like I like Luka a lot.
Yep. So I'm gonna go. Is LeBron James the point guard?
No.
Is LeBron a point
I
guard?
stayed away from that.
I see him at the 5 spot.
Yeah, I stayed away from that. But like,
All right.
They got shooters
Okay.
starting at the point.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna go. Coach Martin took mine. I was hoping he wasn't
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
steal it,
My
but
fault.
no. Hey, it's our opinion. I think you got to go with Luka this year. I think he's having an unbelievable year, taking the game by storm, and I'm going with Luka. Best shooter in the NBA. Okay, this is all time. Best shooter in the NBA all time. I'm going with Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller, Indiana Pacers. He was clutch. He had the record for a long time, and it's been broke twice by Ray Allen and Steph Curry. But if I'm taking one, Reggie Miller. He hit game winners on Mike. He hit game winners on Mike. Like clutch as can be. Let's go Spike next.
All right. So I'm gonna throw a little different at you. I'm gonna go Steve Nash.
Woo!
I'm a big Nash. You know what? 50, 40, 90. So 50% from 2, 40
Valid.
from 3,
Respect that.
90 from free throws, right? And I know he's not like your stereotypical knockdown 3-point shooter like Reggie or some of these other guys, but shooting's about
Respect it.
efficiency, right? And that dude did it at a high level.
And if we're talking form, like shooting form,
Yeah.
like Steve Nash is like my guy Reggie isn't the
Yeah.
prettiest form you've ever seen, but he repped it so many
Young
times.
kids.
But I can respect that.
Check out
Spike.
Nash.
I like that. I like that. Lou Jack.
You just made, as you said, the 50, 40, 90. Just made me really think about
That's
it.
why I threw something
Because
different out there.
I was going to go Ray Allen in first. I was definitely going Ray Allen in first. And I'm a big Klay Thompson. I will argue Klay Thompson all the time, but I'll go Kevin Durant.
Okay. Ooh.
Like, he's efficient in every aspect. The 3-point, off the dribble. Like, he's probably got one of the meanest, just one dribble pull. Yeah, I'll go KD. Okay, I'll go KD.
Okay. KD. Jace.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I hope you say who I think you're gonna
I was gonna say Clay. Is that who you want?
Okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Were you gonna say Steve Alford?
No, go ahead.
Steve Ball.
All right. So I would say Clay, because of that game, he had like 60 some points and like what,
12, 13
12
shots.
or 13 dribbles and like, I don't know, just very pure, very pretty, and plays a lot of really good defense. But shooting wise, I think Clay.
Clay.
Who's you?
Scored 60 on
Something-
12 dribbles.
12 dribbles or something like that. I
Man,
don't remember.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You said Reggie,
I said Reggie.
so we gotta give him some credit. I didn't want to double up on you. Got us to talk about Steph Curry.
No, yeah.
Nobody said
I
Steph
didn't wanna say
Curry.
that.
Yeah, I just but absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to say it again. I just
Yeah.
But dude,
Yeah. No.
I mean, even like Reggie's on Twitter, like, yo, you're the best shooter.
Yeah.
Of all
Yeah.
time. Right?
For me, I'll argue with you with Clay and Steph. I think Steph makes the tougher.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very efficient. He makes the tougher shot off the dribble. Like, I like Clay's fundamentals. I've never been the greatest shooter, but when you watch Clay, he's literally always here.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where he
Yes.
plays. It's always
Yep.
no dip.
Yep.
It's perfect
Yep.
form. every time.
Absolutely.
But if you say Steph, I can't.
Yeah.
Can't argue it.
It's-
Steph, what everybody saw on Instagram, he made like 106 in a row.
I think 112.
Well, it was 112. I think it was, I couldn't remember the exact number, and as a player development coach, I appreciate him getting in the gym the way he does. I mean, my goodness. Okay, let's go. I want to take us back a little bit. Okay, so we're just back to your childhood. You're growing up, shooting in the backyard. Who was the player you tried to emulate your game after? Okay, who was the player you tried to emulate your game after? Lou Jack, you're going to kick us off here. Or did you have one? Or maybe you didn't.
It was a combination of a lot of people. Obviously, I think everybody wants to be 6'6". Like I won't sit here and say nobody wants to not be 6'6". Like that was the greatest thing to be like if I could be 6'6". But for me, Allen Iverson was a big influence. I would say, a lot of kids don't know Baron Davis. I was a big Baron Davis fan just because he would hang on rims. He had a crossover. Steve Francis, Jamal Carter was probably my favorite player. Jamal Carter, like a lot of people, my friends will tell you back home. I wanted to be 6'5", just the way he handled the ball offensively. Combination of
Respect.
definitely Jamal Carter.
Michigan man.
Michigan man.
One of
For
them,
like 7 days.
one of them.
Got buckets though.
A lot of people want one of them Michigan men. Like back when people weren't going one of them, but
Yeah,
Jamal
that's true.
Crawford has always been my favorite player.
That's true. Coach Martin, how about you in the backyard?
Well, Indiana was not very good when I was growing up, but Gracie Wright.
Gracie,
Yeah.
number 0, I believe.
Number four.
Oh, yeah, 4. My bad.
And looking back, I just thought he was the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time in the backyard emulating a few different things. One, Keith Smart's shot to beat Syracuse in the 1987 national championship,
Yep.
where he's fading towards the left baseline. And two, I spent a lot of time emulating the high school kids that I watched play at Oak Hill High School. So Matt Middlesworth, Travis Owsley, they were my heroes, probably because Indiana wasn't very good. And so I spent a lot of time pretending to be them.
No, and that's a great point there. All you high school hoopers out there, there's little kids watching you.
Yeah.
There's little kids watching you. I absolutely. That's a good point. Spike, how about you?
Actually, I got a unique one. I'm gonna start by saying I watched a ton of Steve Nash growing up, trying to like emulate, and trying to copy his game a little bit. But growing up, I have 2 older brothers. One was a huge Duke fan, and this is a completely random one. We'd play 2v2, so my brother's friend would come over. Me and my oldest brother would be Arizona. I was Jason Gardner, and he was Lauren Woods, right?
Yeah.
We played Duke, and my brothers were Battier and Boozer,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yes.
But like, I know he's back in Indiana coaching high school basketball, I believe.
Who?
Gardner?
Yes, he is.
Jason
Okay.
Gardner.
Yep.
One of the schools in Indiana, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he was at IUPUI.
IUPUI.
Is he still there? I can't.
No.
even
He's
remember.
coaching high school now.
Okay.
So
Yep.
he was at Loyola Chicago. Then went to IUPUI.
Yep.
He was like my idol growing up.
Yeah.
Footballer in college.
Yeah.
I figured that was a random one.
No,
Indiana
that's a
basketball
good one.
season.
That's it.
That's a good one. No, I'm kind of like Spike too. I've just been a huge college basketball fan. So I've always been a Purdue Boilermaker fan, but I got family in North Carolina as well. And I loved watching Antoine Jameson and Vince Carter. Love watching those guys, trying to emulate my game after those guys. I loved watching Jerron Cornell at Purdue. Lights out 3-point shooter from South Bend, Indiana. Brian Cardinal. Gotta love Citizen Payne. Like I just love him, man. Like just as hard as he played, and Reggie Miller's my all-time favorite player. So that's the one guy I would choose.
But I shout my college guys out.
I did NBA guys. We were looking at fundamentals in college. You were trying to be an NBA player.
I'll be honest, that is true. That's very true. I skipped a lot of that.
That's why you skipped.
Yeah.
We're all
And look at
stuck
you.
That's why you still play.
D Brown was big. D Brown in Illinois. D Brown was something special.
Yes.
You couldn't jump, but I love the way D Brown played. It's weird. First college game I actually remember, national championship, Utah versus Kentucky.
Yep.
Andre Miller.
Oh,
Andre
yeah.
Miller was a different
Yes.
animal. Like, you watch him in the pros, he was super slow, but Andre Miller in college was ridiculous.
Yes, he was.
Those 2 guys were big. And even though I was older at the time, my game was starting to get similar to his. And I will 2 guys. I give a shot. Will Bynum. A lot of guys don't know about Will Bynum.
Mhm.
Went to Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Played in the pros. Like he's
That's a good name out there.
animal.
Yep.
And then Johnny Flynn. Johnny Flynn was just being a short guy. I was dogging watching Johnny Flynn hang on rims. It was like, yeah, I want to be like Johnny Flynn.
Yeah.
Johnny Flynn can ball. So yeah, I get those guys a shout out.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. So as big of fans we are, we've seen lots of unbelievable basketball games. And so I want you to shout out 2 games that were unbelievable for you to watch in all the games you've watched in your entire life. This can be high school games. This can be NBA. This can be college. This can be literally whatever you want. While you guys are thinking, I know which games I'm going to shout out. So
Can it be games we played in or just watched?
Games you just watched as a fan or just watching wherever, TV, or you're in attendance or whatever. But I'm going to shout out one of the best games I ever watched was Tri-Central High School versus Lafayette Central Catholic, where Grayson Flitner, throwing that name out there, Grayson Flitner went to Gardner-Webb, and he beat Kentucky, UConn, and has the record for the most threes in the Dean Dome. Lefty shooter from Tri-Central High School. Look him up. I'm his biggest fan. I love it. He dropped 50. So Lafayette Central Catholic going to the regional championship at Frankfort High School. And I go there and watch the game. Lafayette Central Catholic, a lot of you guys listen to this from my home area, you know this game. And Will Huberts and the Anthrops from Lafayette Central Catholic, are in the regional championship. Big Purdue family right there. And Grayson Flitner had Grayson Flip. He was the only thing on their team. Everyone else, all respect to them, they play hard, but that was all they had. And he went for 50 in Case Arena, falling out of bounds, hitting threes. That's one game for me. And then my second favorite was when Purdue beat Michigan State back in 2000 when Mateen Cleaves and Mo Pete came into Mackey. And I'm sitting at the top of the arena. There's not a single place sold out. Me, my cousin, and my dad. I'm a little boy, and I remember how loud it was. I'm talking like Alan Eldridge is on the team. That's a Purdue name out there. But Mateen Cleaves, Mo Pete, the Flintstones coming to Purdue. And those are my 2 games. Coach Martin.
Yo, I got a high school game and a college game. The first one, the high school game was one that Courtney, Jordan's wife, played in. It was against Jimtown, and what I remembering was a semi-state. The team I was cheering for, Oak Hill, lost, but it was so much fun. It was the loudest noise I've ever heard. Courtney hit a shot, kind of runner in the lane, if I'm remembering correctly, to send it to 1 overtime or maybe the 2nd overtime. And the noise the student section made when she hit that is the loudest noise I've ever been a part of. And I can still picture her running with her airplane arms around the gym after hitting that shot. So that one was really fun. And then one of my earliest basketball memories is the 2002 Indiana Duke Sweet 16 game, where Indiana upset. It was the last time they'd been to the Final Four. They went to the national championship game, lost to Maryland, but they upset a really good Duke team with Jay Williams and Boozer, and specifically AJ Moye, who's an Indiana player who played real hard, wasn't necessarily the best shooter or best athlete, blocked a Carlos Boozer shot that saved the game for Indiana. That's one of my earliest basketball memories.
Great games. Great games. Lou Jack.
I got 3, but I'll get that honorable mention if it comes back to a spot.
Okay.
But Illinois, Arizona. That's
national championship.
Sweet 16. I
Oh,
want to say Sweet 16 Elite 8. It's right there.
the one with D and Darren.
Yeah. I'm just
Okay,
trying
gotcha.
to remember exactly, but literally that's the one time I was an Illinois fan. Like everybody, and you looking at the team, Hassan, Adams, and all those guys on the other side, and they're beating Illinois. It's like it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And the way they came back, I remember as a fan, like, yo, this is the greatest team ever. Like nobody thought we were going to win that game when the way they got down.
Yeah.
So I would say that was my college game, and then actually high school game.
I like these high school
Derrick
stories.
Rose, Chicago Symphony
Ooh.
versus Oak Hill.
Oh.
And that's when Brandon Jennings.
Yes.
Brandon Jennings had never lost a high school game yet. And just in that era, prep schools wasn't the thing to do. It was like,
Yes.
you play for your school,
Right.
you can get it done. And I remember sitting there as an Illinois guy, always been a fan of D Rose, and just cheering for him. Like, Nolan Smith's on that team.
Yes.
Oak Hill's loaded. Oak Hill
Yes.
Academy's loaded. And just to see D Rose like dominate with just his local high school guys, his friends, I was cheering like I was a Chicago Symphony. Yeah, that sticks out.
So, dude, I got to piggyback off that. Funny story about D Rose. Just AAU. He was on Eric Gordon's team on Mean Streets.
Yeah.
And like Eric Gordon was #1 player in the country.
Right.
So everybody talked about him. And the ball gets tipped. They were playing SYF, who I played for 2 years older.
Yep.
And like, ball's tipped, gets thrown to D Rose, and he takes off from like outside the paint and just bangs it.
Yeah.
So I use my language.
It's all good. It's all good.
And I'm like, okay, that's Eric Gordon. I go, but who the hell is that guy? I was like, that guy's really good. You know? So that's my D Rose memory. Sorry, dude. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
My 2 games, I'm gonna go both NBA games. I'm sorry. 2 NBA games. First one, because like my first basketball memories, I'm up north by Chicago. I'm gonna go with the '98 Bulls when MJ hit the shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's like my earliest basketball memories. I'm a diehard Bulls Jordan fan, so that was sick. My other one is last year NBA, Brooklyn Nets versus Celtics. Caris LeVert scored 51 points.
Yeah.
Former teammate of mine.
Yes.
Great person,
Oh.
great kid. Just to like,
Yep.
first of all, he scored 50 in an NBA game at the Garden, you know. But just to know him and like the work he's put in and his story, that was a pretty cool moment for him and his family. It was just really cool to witness.
Those are all great games. And kind of as we wrap up here, final question is best arena you've ever been in. Best arena you've ever been in, and this could be played in, was a fan at, your absolute favorite arena. And I'll start while you guys are thinking. And my favorite gym, and this is going to take a lot of people by surprise, is the Knightstown Hoosier Hickory Gym, where they play the Indiana North-South All-Star game, where it's Hickory versus Terhune. You probably played in that, Spike. Didn't get invited to it. Man, they missed out. They missed out. But this is just because of the sentimental value of the movie Hoosiers. And my dad living in North Carolina after watching that movie in 1989 when I was born, cried like a baby, moved our family back to Indiana. I got to choose.
I'm also going to go with the shocker. You guys heard of a place called Assembly Hall?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one is because, like, that's just, it's so nice to be around so many Indiana fans. And, like, just everybody's cheering for the same thing. I don't know, that's my favorite. It's a crappy arena. Like, it's not a good place to watch a game. It's, like, weirdly shaped and ugly, but it's just fun to be around all those Indiana fans.
Yeah, I'm going Purdue. I'm going Mackey Arena, just a simple fact. Playing on College game day, it's 2 times. Like, the Rose Garden is phenomenal because we played there in the Sweet 16 to get to the Sweet 16 against Washington.
Yep.
So Gonzaga was there, we were there,
Yep.
Illinois was there. So it became really
Special,
hey,
yeah.
I'm going with the Big Ten. I'm going with our guys. That was special. The Garden sucks. People may get mad at me. I was disappointed in the Garden. Like, the atmosphere is cool because it's the history, but it's like, it's dirty. It's like, this is the Garden, like, whatever. But Mackey, College game day, like, oh my God, like to hear the
Duke game day.
Duke, I didn't even get to that one. Like the Duke game, like they literally say, and I believe it, like, and I seen it against West Virginia, like you can feel the ground shake. Like you
that's
can
fact.
Feel the ground shaking, and I didn't even get to play in the West Virginia because I was hurt, and I was sitting there, and I wanted to cry, like tears of joy, like I'm missing this moment, like the court is shaking, but yeah, Mackey, I'll put Mackey there just because of the moments I was able to experience in them,
No doubt,
just knowing the history.
No doubt, and I gotta mention, we talked about best games ever attendance. The West Virginia Purdue game was. I remember I was on Christmas break. I was playing college basketball. And I came home and I got to go to that game, and truly you could feel the ground shake. I believe West Virginia, we were
top 5.
We were 2 top 5 teams.
2 top 5 teams, top 10 at the most.
Yes.
That's what Deshaun Butler before he
tore his ACL. Bob Huggins holding his head in the Final Four. It was that year.
They had another.
Yep.
It was Deshaun Butler, and they had one more.
Yeah, they some dogs.
And
they were good. Really good team.
The anticipation of it. Robert just came off USA basketball.
Yep.
It was a big year for us like that. Yeah, that game
was nuts. Best arena, Spike.
You got to say Chrysler, right? We've all said,
yeah.
You're going to take some people off.
We're all homers here. So I will say Mackey's electric. And the one thing I love about Mackey is, like, they just don't show up for the big games. Right? You could be playing.
Yeah.
Gives a crap state, and that thing is sold out.
Right.
No doubt.
And like whether Purdue's, first in the conference, last, like they show up. So I love that. I respect it. I'm gonna roll with Chrysler.
Yep.
4 years.
Shocker.
Chrysler's good, especially.
I thought he was gonna say Breslin. I thought he was gonna say Breslin.
That's
East
fun place to play.
Lansing's a dumb. Hey, you know where else I will say that was cool? AT&T Stadium. Like their Sweet 16 Elite 8.
Oh, wow.
Football stadium, 110,000. It's just different. That was cool too.
Well, thank you, CTA family, for joining us today on the Compete Mentality Podcast. This was a special episode just for you. Always remember that competing is doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard.